用最热烈的掌声欢迎今天我们老师 Charles。
大家好。Good afternoon. This is like the pizza or 葱油饼. So we make it. 跟 pizza 一样，对不对 ？Just like a pizza. Okay, so the easiest thing to make is a cup. Because we'll just make the texture, and we'll wrap it, and we'll put it together, and put a bottom on it, and maybe a handle. Very easy. 杯子做杯子就是非常容易，但是我不要全部的人做杯子。 可以做随便的，只要用那个石膏模型。Just use the plaster mold, make something with texture. I made this one. It's a picture. This one, a little vase. I'll give to my mom. She'll put a flower inside. Beautiful. And this one, I'm going to put money inside. Shh. Don't tell anybody. Okay, so. All right. We have the needle. So, I want to make the texture. So, that's about good. Because we're going to put it, we put it on the plaster mold. And then we can roll it a little. If you get too thin, the clay is very good. The clay remembers. You put it on the mold, it will remember how it is. And you can play with it a little bit. But if you play with it, it will become dry and crack and just blue, and then you can do nothing with it. That's kind of what when you tell them that if they play too much, then it'll.
等一下，你在擀图板的时候，不要擀得太薄，大概是1公分的厚度，然后再放到石膏模上面去了之后呢，你就可以稍微把它改一改，把纹路印出来就好。
So, I teach the class 6 times. 2 times now, I make the cup. It's very easy. You make the cup, you just wrap, put it together, no problem. I'm a little bored with that now though, so I think I want to try to make something fun. Just cut away part of this. Save that for later. Okay, so I have another one of these. The plaster, 那个石膏，你不要放进，你看你一点那个白色的石膏在里面，也用这个放进来。
你看到粘土上面有白色的石膏的时候，记得要把那个石膏挑起来。如果它粘在上面，万一如果你选择留在这里再烧，它烧了就会炸掉。
Plaster and clay are friends, but they don't want to go cooking. Plaster doesn't want to go cooking with the clay. Okay, so I have a couple of pieces here. Might be a little too big.
你可以压印出各式各样的纹路出来，然后利用拼贴的把它们拼成一个容器。它可以是杯子，可以是花器，可以是水仙桶，或是你可以想一下，你可以把它做成什么样的容器都可以。
Okay, so I've got my 2 leaves now. I think maybe I'll make one more. If you need a little more clay, you can ask me, but if we gave you 1.5, you can make something about this big, maybe a little bigger. Now, we have to learn how to put the clay together. That's a little thick, but not too bad. So, now we have to learn. We learned clay 就是什么？刚刚怎么说？ Okay, plaster mold， 中文怎么说 ？plaster mold，
石膏模。
石膏模。然后 texture， 中文怎么说？
纹路纹样。
什么？
纹样或是纹路。
纹路。Now we have to learn slip and score. Slip. This is like glue for the clay. Oh. We have it here. Don't eat it. No, don't eat it. That's funny, but not funny. Okay, so let's see. I want to do something a little like that. Okay, I'm going to try. I don't know, it might fall down, but I'm going to play with it a little bit and see what I can do. I want this to stand up with the two leaves, and then I'm going to try to put another one inside. So, I'm going to bend this one a little down. You can just make a cup. Cup is very easy. You just take the clay, wrap it, you can cut it into a rectangle, wrap them together, and then slip and score. What I'm about to show you right now. And then you have to put a bottom on. Okay, so I'll do this. And let's see, maybe something like, I think I'm going to need a third one. But I don't want it to fall down, and I want it to stay open, and I don't want to sit here and hold it the whole time. So, can you read this? 你可以念，我不会，我用这样子。Version 2. Okay, we gotta get started, so I gotta show you slip and score. So, I think these ones, I want them to come together about right there. So, on each side, where you want them to come together, they have to join completely. So we will use this, and we will score. Scoring is just, you make, so we make the little marks with the needle. A fork is also very good for this, but we don't have enough forks. So we just put a little bit of the slip.
有光光光的地方，请记得用泥浆去点满。
不要太多了。
点适量就好了，不要过头，也不要太少哦。
Okay, so we'll just push it together, just a little bit, and then make it smooth. They have to be together. You have to push them all the way together, at least on one side. 一边要进去吗？不用看那个线或是什么东西。
当两块黏土粘在一起之后，请记得用你的手指头反方向的把它抹掉。你在抹平的时候，只要抹平面的地方就好了，不要抹得太大力，不然你刚才石膏压印出来的纹路它就会不见了。 起来先借我一下，用你最热烈的掌声欢迎今天我们的老师 Baby。
Good afternoon. And like Molly said, my name is David, and today we're going to make a vase. So the first thing we need to do is make a slab. Everybody say slab. Slab. What is a slab? A slab is a very flat piece of clay. And the slab we're going to make is this shape. What is this shape? Who can tell me?
Rectangle.
Very good. This is a rectangle. And we are going to start with clay like this. So right now, I want you all to watch me. Don't start making, just watch. What shape is this? Right, this is a circle. So we have to make this shape starting with this shape. So the first thing we're going to do is make this more long. We don't want to start with a circle. So I'm going to beat it into this shape. Next, I'm going to use my fist and I'm going to pound it flat. So I'm going to go in one direction. And when I get to this point, be really careful. Don't hit on the outside. Hit on the inside. If you hit on the outside, it will be too thin. But we don't want it too thin. We want it to be the same thickness. So I'm going to hit it from the inside only. After I get it this flat, I can throw it. So when I throw it, I'm not going to throw like this. I'm going to throw it sideways. You can even pick it up like this and throw it at a diagonal, just like this. And that will make it stretch. It will make it very long. Do you see it stretching? It's getting very long. Good. Okay, now let's check. It's big enough. Can everyone see?
Yes.
Now, once it's big enough, I'm going to use a different tool. This is called a needle tool. Everybody say needle tool.
Needle tool.
And the needle tool is very good for cutting. So I'm going to lay my rectangle on my clay and cut around my rectangle. And now, I'm going to take them both together. The plastic, the colored rectangle, and my clay, and pick them up together and flip them over. So now I can pick them up together like this. You can even play with them a little bit. And I'm going to take my needle tool, and I'm going to scratch each end of the clay. What animals like to scratch? Yeah, cats like to scratch. We're also going to scratch with our needle tool. And when you scratch, don't scratch in one direction. Scratch this way and this way. Or you can make an X pattern. So I'm going to do that. And you don't need to go too deep. If you go too deep, you might hurt your vase. So just a little deep. So I have one scratch, want to scratch both ends. And I'm going in two directions. And after I've scratched, I'm going to use this. This is kind of like glue. It's very sticky. It's called slip. Everybody say slip.
Slip.
Yeah, slip is S-L-I-P. So slip is just clay and water together, and it's about like yogurt. And we're going to use this tool. I think some of you know what this is. What is this? Right, this is a toothbrush, so please don't brush your teeth with slip. It's very, so disgusting. And we're going to put a little bit of slip on one end. You don't need them on both, you just need one. I'm going to put a little slip, not too much. And now I'm finished. Now I'm going to pick it up like this. And I'm going to put them together. You can also stand it up if that's easier. And I'm going to pinch them together so that they stick. And now, if you don't like your pinch marks, you can just take a finger and make them a little smoother. And now I can, before I take the plastic off, I can change the shape. What shape is this? This shape is kind of like a tear, like if you're crying, a teardrop. I wrote that here, T-E-A-R. So if you don't like a tear shape, you can change it a little bit. You can also make it almost a circle. So I like the tear shape, so I'm going to take my plastic off. And this is going to be the body of our vase. So if you pick this up, it's very soft, so you always want to use 2 hands and go very slowly. The next step is you also have a half circle of clay. You're going to make slab number 2. This is a smaller slab. And you're going to do the same thing. Flatten it and stretch it. You can use your rolling pin again. Does this look big enough? This is going to be the bottom of our vase. Is this big enough? Yeah, this is big enough. So I'm going to take this. What shape is this?
Square.
Very good. This is a square. I'm going to put the bottom clay on the square, this wooden square board. Just like this. And then I'm going to take 2 hands and very carefully put the body of the vase on this slab. What do you see? Yeah, I drew a hippo just like all these hippos here. So after you draw a shape, you're going to use scissors and you're going to cut out your shape. Today you can draw an animal, you can draw a person, you can draw a car, or you can just draw a shape. It doesn't have to be anything. So think, while I'm cutting, think about what you want to draw.
等下你把纸张剪下来之后，它是2张纸，请不要把它剪得碎碎的。中间的图案跟外面的轮廓的图案，它分别就是你等一下要贴在花器的正反面，正面跟反面2张图。
Okay, so here's my hippo, and if you want, you can put them on your rectangles like this. So when we put it on our vase, it's going to look like this. There's going to be a positive hippo and a negative hippo. So you're going to take your sponge and add water, and you're going to brush water on your paper. Then you're going to take your paper and stick it on the side of your vase. After it's stuck, you can take your sponge a second time and make sure it's really adhered to the side of the vase. It's really stuck. So as I'm wiping away from the paper. And then the outside, this part is a little more difficult. I'm going to turn the vase to the other side. Add some water. And once it's stuck, I'll take my sponge and wipe it on the side of the vase. Okay, now it's very well adhered on both sides. So my next step is I have some red slip at your table. After it's fired, it's not going to be red, it's actually going to be brown. But right now it's red. And I'm going to take a brush. You might need to mix your slip a little bit. And when I'm painting, I'm going to paint away from the clay. I'm not going to paint into the paper. I'm actually going to paint away from the paper. Like this. Not into the paper, away. finished. So once you're finished, you might need a needle tool to take the paper off. Well, can you see my hippo? And let me do the other side. Almost done. You might need your needle tool to help you get your paper off. And there it is. Can you see my hippo on this side too?
Yes.
And the last thing you can do is after you take your paper off, we have a trash can over here. You can take your trash